Well, it's that time of the year again, believe it or not, and it comes around really quick, Halloween night, and we all get caught out. Tonight, I'm going to tell you how to make the most perfect pumpkin, because your children love playing and love looking at pumpkins, and also they keep away the evil spirits. Now, after you see this video, I want you to get out there and buy your pumpkin, because believe it or not, Waitrose and Tesco's, they sell out real quick, and they leave those scrawny little ones that look like last turkey in the shop, and you don't want that. Now what I want you to do is this. I'm going to show you exactly what tools you need and the perfect size pumpkin to make that perfect pumpkin. First of all, always make sure that you've got a serrated knife. The serrated knife is the one you need with a point. I'm going to come to that and I'll show you why and tell you how to use it. You need some kind of chinagraph, a wax pen, bit of charcoal, just to make kind of rough markings on your pumpkin. You need a spoon to scoop out the content, because we're not going to throw it in the bin. We're going to put it in a saucepan and we're going to give you the greatest recipe on pumpkin soup, because it's delicious. There's nothing better than going out, frightening the neighbourhood, coming back with all those sweets and then having your pumpkin soup. And then, last but not least, you need your wonderful little tea light, because that's going to make it shine and that's going to make it work. So now I'm going to go to how we mark the top and how we cut it. So what we need is your pen or a pencil, and we're just going to mark the top roughly around the pumpkin. It's good to keep the pumpkin, cut the lid serrated rather than cut it flat, because it falls off and it can be dangerous, because when it burns it can fall into the flame, and also it's nicer. Now I'm going to come around this side and show you how to use this knife. Okay, now we're going to cut the lid, and this is why we need this sharp pointed serrated knife. What you do, you draw your line, get the pointed knife and dig it in and stop. It's nice to have the blade thickness, and then you cut back up from that, back up to your line and stop. Start from your line again and cut down again. Start from that line you've made there and cut back up to your next line. And keep pushing in and working it round. So it's real simple, because all you're doing is no danger, no fingers in the way, nothing where you can cut yourself, and you're just going to carry on doing that all the way around the pumpkin. So it's cut in and then cut up. So once you've gone all the way around and cut to cut, cut to cut, all the way around, put your knife in, and as long as you've gone deep enough, usually have somebody to hold this and lift your lid, and your lid will come off. Obviously you've got all the gooey bit of the pumpkin, pull it out, and what I always do, get a saucepan, because we're not going to waste any of this, because like I said, we're going to make this delicious pumpkin soup. So I then just cut and keep as much as you can on the lid, because it acts as insulation to the candle, and also it smells delicious. So really you want to keep, I always say, as much as you can, but you can keep cutting it and cutting down and down. So after doing your lid, I'm now going to scoop out the pumpkin. What I've done, I've obviously marked a little mark to show where they'll join up, because having a serrated lid, they're all different cuts, and to get it matching each time, so it's a perfect fit. Make a little mark on the lid, a little mark on the pumpkin, and that's the way it goes each time. So keep this, it's very valuable. And now we're going to get the pumpkin, and obviously all that lovely contents we are now going to scoop out. You want a spoon, which is great, and obviously it's just hard work, and you're going to scoop out all the pumpkin. It's good to put the pumpkin down. As many hands, even ladles like this work, so it's great to start to scoop out the pumpkin, and just literally, before you start scooping it, taking any out, just scratch it and scrape it all into the middle of the pumpkin, and keep doing that until you've got all that mess, and take it out and then start doing your pumpkin. So now we have dug all the content out, and you want to keep it as quite solid, but you can see we've done a very good clean, because depending on the size of the pumpkin, you need to keep the rigidity of the pumpkin so it doesn't collapse on you, and you can cut a good eye and a mouth out. So now we're going to put this away, and we're going to start now on making a pumpkin, the face. As we said, mark the little dot against dot, and that goes back in on the lid. Now why I always say cut the lid off and put the lid back on, because you're now going to get a proportion of how this pumpkin should look. So take off the lid and find out how deep you go down, so you can keep the mouth away from the bottom, so that the light can come through the mouth. Don't cut too low with the mouth, because the light can't come through it. put the lid back on, which gives it rigidity and again enough for you to hold it. Get your pencil, and now we're going to mark drawing the face. First of all, we're going to look at doing some eyes. We're going to look at a nose, and we're also going to look at another eye. And what happens as you're doing this, it's quite nice to do little touches like pupils in the pumpkin works well. And now we're going to start the mouth from about here, and we're going to gradually draw a smiley face, because it's far nicer to have a happy, smiling pumpkin than a miserable, frightening pumpkin. So draw a rough mouth here, a rough mouth here, and then once you've got your very rough drawing, you can now start to sculpt it with the knife. As I say, it's important to use this knife, pointed, serrated. Again, remember, as long as you do this, you push in, down to your cut, first cut, and stop. Where you made a cut, push in, and back again, stop, push up, in, to the next cut, and then you can cut your tiny little pupils here and here. And then you can then take your eye out, or the pumpkin's eye out. Pull the eye out here, and what you'll find is that you'll find that now you can start to modify it gradually by cutting more at an angle and getting more of the pumpkin inside out of it. But that comes later. So once you cut your eye, you can now go to the next and carry on, i.e. the nose. Again, very similar. Push the knife in, down one cut, again from cut to the next cut, and then push in and then out with the nose. So gradually it's coming, and so on. Always be very careful with the knife. So now I've cut all round the mouth exactly the same as we've done before. So now we pull the mouth out, and there's the wonderful shape of a pumpkin, and he's very happy. And now we're going to light the candle and we're going to put him in it. And here we have your wonderful finished pumpkin. And this is going to be the star of the show. Ooh. Wow.